Welcome to a quick ticker update, folks, from the Ticker Guy. Yeah, it's Carl sitting over here in sunny Niceville, Florida. Actually, not too sunny today, but you know it's not bad. Listen, hat tip to PCAP here for a good catch on the hearings yesterday on the Hill. You know, Jamie Dimon and Ben Bernanke both kind of made out like the financial system was fixing to collapse into a big smoldering pile of nuclear waste if J.P. Morgan didn't come in and rescue lowly little Bear Stearns. But at 2:30 in the afternoon, a rather interesting exchange took place. Let me read it to you. Senator Shelby, speaking, asks the question, Mr. Dimon, for some time J.P. Morgan Chase has acted as the clearinghouse for Bear Stearns. I believe J.P. Morgan Chase also has extensive OTC derivative contracts with Bear Stearns. What was the extent, sir, of J.P. Morgan Chase's interconnectedness to Bear Stearns prior to the Bears' announcement of their intention to file for bankruptcy? And what would have been the impact on your company's balance sheet if Bear Stearns had been liquidated? Were these considerations that went through your mind because you were connected? You were the banker, basically, the commercial banker for an investment bank. And what Mr. Shelby, I believe, was kind of pro-bad here was, did Bear Stearns basically try to hedge off their risk by buying their counterparty? And Jamie Dimon, however, threw back a rather interesting reply. He says, yeah, we were one of their bankers and one of their main clearinghouses, so we obviously had extensive relationships and exposures, but the answer to your question, our direct exposure on that day was approximately, wait for it, guys, 0. So if you say, and where we did have exposure, it was fully and totally collateralized, our real exposure would have been if Bear Stearns went bankrupt. The impact, yet, of course, would have had on the financial system, we probably would have lost money, but we still would have been in, wait for it again, fine shape. So it really did not and was not one of the reasons we went ahead and did this transaction. Systemic risk? I thought the entire financial system was about to collapse. I thought that we had a ticking nuclear bomb sitting on the world's balance sheet that the Fed successfully diffused. Maybe that wasn't quite true. We didn't hear Mr. Shelby follow up with the question that, had I been in that room, I would have asked. And that would have been something like this. Everyone has been told, Mr. Dimon, that this transaction was undertaken because the entire financial system was at imminent risk of a full-on collapse. But you just testified that you would have been in fine shape had Bear Stearns filed bankruptcy. That doesn't sound like financial Armageddon to me. I hate to be impolite, Mr. Dimon, but your answer compels me to ask. As a member of the board of the New York Federal Reserve and chairman of J.P. Morgan, who's claimed intimate knowledge of Bear's exposure as their clearing firm, did Mr. Bernanke commit perjury when he claimed the justification for this merger was systemic risk? Or did you just perjure yourself? Because, see, from where I sit and what I just heard, one of you must have been less than honest with this committee. You know, you didn't hear that from our fine senators yesterday, did you? Maybe you ought to pick up the phone today and ask them, why not? $29 billion of taxpayer funds are now committed to backstop a private firm's acquisition of another. A firm and acquisition that, Mr. Dimon also testified, J.P. Morgan would not have taken without that $30 billion backstop. So, again, I ask, exactly why was $30 billion of taxpayer funds committed to this transaction if, in Mr. Dimon's esteemed opinion, and let's face it, if anybody should have known it was him, they weren't in trouble if Bear Stearns went down. And yet, as their clearing firm and as a counterparty to many of their OTC derivatives, they were, if not one of the largest institutions at risk, possibly the largest institution at risk. One wonders. But you know what? Yesterday, we the people did not get the answer to that question in those hearings because our senators didn't ask. It's time to pick up the phone, folks. You have been played with, lied to, bamboozled, and generally ripped off systematically for years. I don't know whether or not J.P. Morgan told the truth. I don't know whether or not Ben Bernanke told the truth. all I can note is that one of them had to have been less than forthcoming in their testimony. Because if JP Morgan faced no systemic risk, why exactly again was it that Bear Stearns was bailed out? Why were they acquired? And why was $29 billion of taxpayer money committed to the transaction? We still don't have an answer to that question, but what we do know is that the proffered reason from Mr. Bernanke has been debunked by the CEO of the firm that claims the most intimate knowledge of the acquired company's balance sheet. Come on, Ben. Come on, Congress. We deserve better. It's our money, not yours.